What's up, basketball fans? Welcome to the Raptors Report. It is time to talk about the Toronto Raptors yet once again because after waiving Orlando Robinson yesterday and Cole Swider, the Raptors have made an additional move today to bring back a player for next season, which I will be breaking down for you in today's video. So if you are ready to watch, make sure to hit the subscribe button. And with that being said, let's get into today's video. As you guys know, I do like to give out shout outs on my channel, and the shout out for today's video goes out to A-Rob. So A-Rob, thank you so much for your support, your likes and comments. Also, guys, thank you for your comments of wishing me well. I'm still a little bit under the weather, but that's okay. We'll kind of work through it. It's something you just got to work through. You know, summer's almost here, spring's almost here. But anyways, let's talk about the Toronto Raptors because Shams Charania was reporting that the Toronto Raptors are converting two-way guard A.J Lawson to a two-year NBA contract. Lawson has averaged 8.8 points and 3.2 rebounds for the Raptors this season and now earns a standard deal. And shout out to Blake Murphy as well, because he also reported that Lawson's 2025-2026 salary is fully non-guaranteed. Now, someone was asking in the comment section to Blake Murphy, what's the point of bringing him? It's pretty much to let him work through the Raptors coaching system, kind of work through their system during the off season, gives you a lot of benefits, as I kind of talked about with Orlando Robinson yesterday when we talked about, they should bring him back. You can work with him in the off season, invite him to camp, obviously, and then go from there as well. But obviously, A.J Lawson has had quite the season for the Toronto Raptors, a Raptors team that the expectations were very different at the start of the season. And now, obviously, the last 20, 30 games has been completely different because we know the Toronto Raptors have been trying to tank, and A.J Lawson has been able to get a lot of good quality minutes, and he has certainly earned his contract for next season. So taking a look at A.J Lawson's stats here quickly here, as you see here, 6'6" guy, it provides size. And even though he is 6'6", I would still ideally want to play him at the shooting guard position. He's only 24 years old. He won't be 25 until the summertime. Also a Canadian kid, that doesn't hurt either. But he's played 24 games for the Toronto Raptors this season, averaging 18 minutes a game, shooting 42% from the field on 7.2 attempts from the field. Three-point shot is 3.9 attempts and shooting only 33% from the three-point line. Again, some of these stats aren't, I do like stats, but I think they could be inaccurate sometimes just because of the fact that we know he's been playing much better when he obviously gets more touches, when he gets more minutes as well. So again, some of these stats are from early on to when, maybe he played 5 minutes here and there, took two shots and missed. So in terms of some of his other statistics as well, though, he is getting 3.2 rebounds, 1.2 assists, half his steal a game, and again, 8.8 points per game. So again, a very much deserved contract for A.J Lawson. He's definitely going to be someone that you want to lock up, not let him go into free agency, just because there's going to be a lot of teams that are hungry for what A.J Lawson would bring to the Toronto Raptors, which would be a lot of scoring. And as I mentioned, he's an instant microwave where, he can come off the bench and really provide good quality minutes. I think the nice thing about having someone like A.J Lawson off your bench is when you consider some of the other pieces like Jamal Shed, Jonathan Mogbo as well. Those guys are a little bit more defensive first, not to say that they can't get their baskets, but they're a little bit more defense focused. And then you have someone like AJ who can you get a nice little mix, you get a nice little mix of some defense, some offense there, and AJ is going to be cooking. The only thing with the AJ is going to be the challenges for him, obviously, coming into next season is going to be when you're playing tanking teams, you're obviously getting, 20, 25 minutes. How is he going to look in reduced minutes now that he's not going to be, now some of the other guys are going to be coming back like Scotty Barnes, RJ, Emmanuel quickly. Brandon Ingram's obviously going to be in the picture as well. So obviously you go a little bit down in terms of how many more touches you're going to get, how many more minutes you're going to get as well. Also very interesting to note that, obviously the Raptors do have Grady Dick, Jacoby Walter as well at the 2 position. So it'll be interesting to see how the minutes stagger as well. But I think most importantly, a question that was mentioned by Samson was on Twitter was, what does this mean for Ochai Agbaji moving forward with the Toronto Raptors? Now, I know what you're thinking. What does this have to do with Ochai? Ochai can play the 3, AJ can play the 2, but just like I talked about, when we talk about certain positions, we have too many guys at the 2 guard position, and someone always becomes expendable. Now, that isn't to say that A.J Lawson is strictly brought in to replace Ochai, but do keep in mind, as I talked about salaries in my previous videos so much, and just given the Raptors' salary situation moving forward, Ochai Agbaji is going to be making $6+ million next season. But the question now is, what is his new contract going to look like with Ochai? Is it someone you're comfortable paying 12, 13, 14 million dollars moving forward? Because that's probably going to be his market. Maybe a million or two less, you can make the argument as well. But Ochai is not going to come cheap, right? He's a good young defensive player who can play the 3 position, he can play the 2 position as well. Someone that can play defense and shoot 3-point shots in today's NBA is very valuable. So does this all of a sudden make Ochai expendable? Is the question. I think the Raptors are going to go into next season and kind of see how it goes, right? Obviously, I'm not saying AJ is going to become comfortable now that he has his contract. Again, it is not fully guaranteed, so the Raptors can waive him, and it won't hurt them that much in terms of money, going against the salary. But we'll see what happens in terms of how the minutes are going to be distributed. Obviously, Ochai is, again, like I said, he's not stealing Ochai's minutes, but it'll be interesting to see how the Raptors maneuver, particularly with Ochai moving forward. And what does this mean for the long term? Like, are they going to trade Ochai with another player to kind of maybe fill in a position of need there, right? If they don't land a center in the NBA draft, now all of a sudden, are you looking to move some of your two guards to try and trade for a power forward or center to kind of fill the need for a forward or more depth at the center position? So we'll see what happens. Very interesting to see these kind of things kind of unfold as the months come along, as obviously free agents come along. Maybe Ochai gets flipped for a first round pick in this year's NBA draft class. Maybe the Raptors really like someone, right? So you never know what happens. Anything could happen. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, I do have a trivia question for you today. And since we're talking about A.J. Lawson, where did A.J. Lawson grow up? Was it A. Brampton? Was it B. Hamilton? Was it C. Mississauga? Or was it D. New York? So whoever answers this trivia question correctly first in the comment section gets a shout out in my next video. So that will be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have yourselves a great day.